Hi, guys. Welcome back to Liturgy with Lily. Welcome to the second week of Lent. Here at Liturgy with Lily, we are striving to form holy disciples, holy families, and holy vocations. So, like I said, we're in the second week of Lent. I'm so happy that you are joining us as we navigate the liturgical calendar and what that means in our personal lives, at home with our families. What does this look like? So, we're going to dive into this coming Sunday's gospel reading. Sunday is March 5th already. It's crazy to think that we're already in March. But yeah, it's March 5th. We will be reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 17, verses 1 through 9. And this is the Transfiguration account. So we are going to dive into that together. A reading from the Gospel of Matthew. 6 days later, Jesus took with him Peter and James and his brother John, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became dazzling white. Suddenly there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with him. Then Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, I will make 3 dwellings here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While he was still speaking, suddenly a bright cloud overshadowed them, and from the cloud a voice said, "This is my Son, the Beloved. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him." When the disciples heard this, they fell to the ground and were overcome by fear. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, "Get up and do not be afraid." And when they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus himself alone. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus ordered them, "Tell no one about the vision until after the Son of Man has been raised from the dead." The Gospel of the Lord. Wow, what a great gospel account for this coming weekend. I'm sure Father Scott will have a lot to say on the Transfiguration. Such a beautiful, beautiful account. And I want to also apologize. While I was reading that, we had some loud noises in the hallway and also a train driving by, so it's probably really loud and distracting, so I'm sorry for that. But let's keep going. We have a beautiful week ahead. This second week of Lent, we have 3 different saint memorials that will be most likely addressed in the masses this week. The first of which is on Tuesday, March 7th. We are celebrating Saints Perpetua and Felicity, who were both martyrs in the early church. They actually died in the year 203. So we're talking early church. And these women were pretty amazing. They actually knew that they were going to be sentenced to death. And Felicity at the time was pregnant. She was worried that her companions would be martyred before her, or like she wouldn't be able to join in their suffering because if she was still pregnant. But she actually had her baby 3 days before they were set to be martyred. So she joined Perpetua and their companions, and they were sadly exposed to wild beasts in an amphitheater, which was very common in the time. It was a common way for Christians to be martyred. And eventually they were killed by the sword. But 2 very powerful women, very beautiful women, they're actually both addressed by name in the Mass. So it's really cool that 2 saints from the very early church still have a beautiful impact in our faith today. So Saints Perpetua and Felicity are celebrated on Tuesday. The memorial of St. John of God is going to be celebrated on Wednesday. This is March 8th. St. John of God lived in the year 1495 to the year 1550. So a while ago. He was of Portuguese descent and converted to the Christian faith at the age of 40. Um, he, at this time, devoted his entire life to the care of the mentally ill, which, especially at that time, even today, you could say, but especially at that time, was a very thankless job. And he was said to have heroic virtue. And most people thought he would be a saint before he died. Like they were like, wow, this guy, he's got it. Saint John of God actually founded an order, the Order of Brothers of Hospitallers, and was declared patron of hospitals and patron of the sick. The Pope actually, at the time, fought, well, I don't know if you could say fought, but advocated for his name to be included in the litanies of the dying as well, because he was such a comfort to those that he tended to, whether they be mentally ill or dying. But St. John of God dedicated his entire life um, to those people. So beautiful man, beautiful story. He was one that this is the first time I really got to research him. So very, very interesting though, and a very holy, holy man. So if you're looking for a saint to dive into this week, they're all great, but St. John of God, super cool guy. And then next up, on the 9th, on Thursday, we are celebrating the memorial of St. Francis of Rome. There are multiple like optional memorials on Thursday, but St. Francis of Rome is the one that is listed first on the liturgical calendar. So we're going to talk about her. She lived in the year 1384 to the year 1440. And not gonna lie, I saw this name on my calendar, St. Francis of Rome, and I just like immediately thought it was a guy. It's not. It's an amazing woman. She was actually a noble lady of Rome at the time and was said to be an example of what a Christian wife should be. She was a wonderful wife to her husband. And after he died, she actually lived in a monastery of oblates that she founded under the rule of Saint Benedict. So, yes, she was a wonderful lady, very holy, and dedicated her entire life, especially after her husband died, to God into his service. And super fun fact about her, St. Francis of Rome actually had the visible presence of her guardian angel. Like, how cool is that? She was said to be one of God's favored because of this. And I thought this was amazing. I couldn't find a ton of information on like if she had writings about it or if she just like talked to her spiritual director about it or what, but I think that would be so cool to be able to see our guardian angels. So St. Francis of Rome, wonderful woman, beautiful wife, and dedicated her entire life to the Lord, which is just such a great example for us. So definitely huge week ahead. Also on Thursday is our blood drive. This blood drive is going to be run by our high school youth group. So we have high school youth that will be volunteering throughout the day. If you are a donor and you're looking to donate, please check out our bulletins. We have a QR code and also like the website's listed to register. It's at the American Red Cross. You can search our blood drive and get signed up. We're looking to fill our spots, so please do that. Also, I want to mention this coming Sunday, not the 5th, but the 12th, March 12th, is our next Forge night. This is actually our last Forged during the Lenten season. And I'm actually planning it right now, but there will be some wonderful things. We're going to be reflecting on the Triduum, and I'm so excited to enter into what Holy Thursday would have looked like for the apostles and diving into the Lord's Passion on Good Friday. So I'm so excited for that, planning that. And yeah, so a lot going on, a lot ahead during this coming week. If you're still looking for a way to incorporate more prayer into your Lenten journey this year, please check out the Hallow app. This beautiful sign behind me. You might be able to even scan the QR code through the video. But check out the Hallow app. They're amazing. We do a lot of prayers right now with our youth on Thursday mornings. We're praying the Seven Sorrows of Mary Rosary. So that's with our Mornings with Mary crew. So a lot of really wonderful things going on. Please be assured that you are in our prayers here at St. Nicholas and Holy Family. Our staff is praying for you, and we wish you a wonderful second week of Lent. Have a good week, everyone.